17-year-old teenager named Temple Summers gave the tour. We were just a little log cabin at that time. So while I was gone, 3 world-class scholars came. James Farlow, a leading dinosaur expert from Indiana University. Stephen Jay Gould, who represented evolutionary theory and punctuated equilibrium. They saw the evidence. They had published that if it could really be demonstrated that man and dinosaur lived contemporaneously, the theory of evolution would be blown out of the waters. And they actually published this in their major articles. And those publications are listed in the panel at the back, in case you want to photograph those with your cell phone. So you can photograph the statements and the documentation where they made these statements. But, so they came to see, and they saw one of the actual human footprints, not a carved print, a genuine human footprint. What did they say? They looked at it and they saw the hammer. They saw one of the actual human footprints cut out of the rock, the verdict print. And they looked at both of them and said, impossible, and just walked away. So evidence is not what mattered to them at all, unfortunately. It's an issue of the heart and the soul. Because if man and dinosaur did live contemporaneously, as the biblical record states, and as the evidence at Glen Rose and a few other spots on Earth do state clearly, if man and dinosaur lived contemporaneously, the theory of evolution is completely blown out of the waters and off the board as a serious position to interpret life origins. So they just said impossible and walked away. But the effect of ridicule that men like this have offered to the entire educational community has somewhat embarrassed the citizens of Glen Rose, because the old-timers knew there were human footprints. Jesse, you saw some of the human footprints when you were a youngster. Robert Summers saw some of the human footprints. We have some of the human footprints from the Paluxy, adjacent to dinosaur footprints, taken out of the river before it was against the law to do so. We do not excavate in the river, but these were taken out before it was against the law. We've had spiral CAT scans examine these in laboratory non-invasively, and they show the compression density. Teacher, I'm giving this for you. This is very important. They show the compression density because during the Depression, a few of the footprints were carved, both human and dinosaur prints, because the originals were in the river. You could cut them out and sell them for up to $40. That was a lot of money during the Depression. That's still a lot of money. So the fact that the originals were there, some fabrications were made, they sold them as the real things. And the fact that some human footprints were fabricated, the evolutionary community says, oh, the human footprints are carved, everybody knows that. Then they hang up, they don't let you explain. Well, no, wait a minute. We have some that have been actually examined under spiral CAT scan technology and show the compression density, not carved at all. Anyhow, this has somewhat embarrassed the business people of Somerville County and Glen Rose. Now, I was called to serve the Lord. There was a time I fought as an atheist. And the gifts and callings of God are without repentance. Until God himself tells me to step down, I'm here. So, ridicule or not. So somebody has to bear this, and I'll be happy to do so. So the general community of business people have been a little hesitant, but we now have so much evidence that if you're honest, you have to embrace that evidence. I said all of that to say this. We invited the business community from the Civic Center to be our guest 3 Monday nights ago. 125 people showed up. An all-time record. An all-time record for the business people getting together under one roof on one occasion.